off until I met you. Hey, hey. I give you all of me. Hoping this will last forever. The world makes sense when we're together. Somehow you start to love inside me. Yeah. And when you find a key, you set me free. Yeah. Now I don't know the good for you. Yeah. But I never can think you do. You came in like a lightning bolt.
At Q95, we are family. Join your family. You can send emails, request songs, name your top 10 songs of the week, and even tell us the music that you want to hear. Stay on top of the latest news and entertainment. Hear it first as it happens. Stay in touch. Call our sales office at 767-448-5822 or call our on-air live talk shows at 767-449-3095, 3096, and 3097. Stay right on Q. Log on to Q95FMradio.com or WICEQFM.com. And contact us. Keep it locked. Q95.
Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon to you and welcome. Welcome. This afternoon, we're going to try to zero in on some comments as it relates to the much talked about electoral reform as expressed on the Global View last evening. And the second hour, we'll try to give you an open line. Some of the comments from last evening's program, The Global View. We heard from George Andre, a distinguished legal mind and judge there in Toronto, Canada. Let's listen.
What do we need? Do we need, for example, or perhaps we need someone like an apostle? Is it Apostle Chi? To extricate, to exorcise this demon of despotism that is buried in the bosom of Dominica, corrupting all its vital organs and creating havoc, creating strife, creating antipathy among family and friends that is sucking the lifeblood from Dominica. I will have more to talk about this. These three pieces of legislation, the Electoral Commission Act, the House of Assembly Act, and the Registration of Elections Act, confirm our worst fears that the democracy we dream of, based and premised on free and fair elections, will not be given to us. We have to try to discover in the title, to make reference to the title of a Harvard professor who published a book, the title of which is something to the effect, we are the leaders that we would like to have in this most perilous of times. Because if we look at these three pieces of legislation, we will see that they do not institute the most fundamental and important reforms recommended by the OAS, by Caribbean organizations, by local organizations, not even by Sir Byron, who was paid in excess of $600,000. I will have more to say about that. But if we look at the proposed constitution of the commission, the question of the electoral fund, if we go to other pieces of legislation, such as, for example, the House of Assembly Act, we will see how important problems that we've already identified in terms of the definition of treating, in terms of the definition of bribery. We will see that there has been no change whatsoever in what existed before and what is being proposed now. If we look, for example, at the other piece of legislation, the Registration of Electors Act, we will see that in terms of who can participate in elections, what is being suggested is even worse and more dangerous than what Sir Byron suggested. So the combination of these three proposed pieces of legislation is nothing but a witch's brew of provisions which will ensure that elections in Dominica will become meaningless because we will not be able to extricate ourselves from the clutches of this demon, whether spiritual or otherwise, that has us in its grip. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just trying to be realistic. And this calls into question our role as the protectors of our democracy. Are we prepared to assume the mantle of leadership in protecting our democracy by repudiating in its entirety these three pieces of legislation concocted by persons who have one overarching interest: to maintain themselves in power as long as possible? And that is where we are in today.
Some brief comments as to the proposed pieces of legislation before us. Lennox Linton, president of the United Workers' Party and a former president or former leader of the United Workers' Party, also commented.
I didn't think it would come to me having to say this, but what we are looking at in terms of these three pieces of legislation that are proposed to go before Parliament for passage and are supposed to bring on board the electoral reforms that we have been talking about for a number of years. What we have before us is actually worse than what we discussed in consultation following the recommendations of Sir Dennis Byron coming out of that consultancy from a couple of years ago. Worse because it now presents us with having to deal with an electoral process that is entitling overseas voters who are not ordinarily resident in Dominica and whose human rights to live, to work, and to enjoy life are under the jurisdiction of another government to distort or to cause harm to the wishes of the resident population of Dominica. That was clearly not the intention of the Constitution that confers the right to vote for representation in the Parliament and the right to participate in government of the people, by the people, for the people. The Constitution clearly sets out residence as a criteria for being able to choose representation in the government. So you have to be resident in a particular polling district in a certain constituency in Dominica for you to be on the register of voters and for you to be able to vote. The bills before us are moving completely away from that to a policy position by this government now that once you have registered to vote, your name shall remain on the register of voters and you will vote forever and ever, amen, regardless of where you live, regardless of whether you're in Dominica or not. You will be able to vote in elections in Dominica. And that is a fundamental departure from the principle of representation on which the right to vote is based. The Prime Minister, some time ago, pointed to the folly of having a Dominica citizen, somebody born in Dominica, living in New York and asking the Pal Rep in Dominica for representation when the road in Manhattan has potholes and needs to be fixed. He internally and truthfully grasped the value of representation to this whole process and what residence means in all of this right to vote for representation in the parliament. He also tells you that where you make your money, is where you're domiciled. Where you live is where you're domiciled. But yet, he is the one who has masterminded this set of proposals now to go before Parliament to basically take the residency criteria to vote out of the equation of the electoral process in Dominica. And when you look at the way in which the electoral process has been manipulated over the years, with all of the millions and millions of dollars from the sale of Dominican passports that are used to bring in Dominicans resident overseas to vote in marginal constituencies and to affect the results in those marginal constituencies in favor of the ruling party. When you look at the absence of campaign finance regulations, even those proposed by Sir Dennis Byron, totally ignored, so that big money, much of which we don't know where, we're never sure where it comes from, but we know a lot of it comes from the sale of our passports, so that big money can have an influence and be the deciding factor in elections in Dominica. When we see no campaign finance regulations, you know very well now that what we're looking at is not reform, we're looking at deformity, further deformity of the electoral process away from the ability to deliver free and fair elections in Dominica. And we know elections in Dominica have not been fair for a long time. In 2014, the Commonwealth Observer Mission told us that the elections were free but not necessarily fair because of numerous instances of bribery and cheating and abuses of incumbency that they witnessed, they saw. We know what the CCJ told us in 2022 in July, that we ought not to go into another election without removing the taints on the electoral process. Bribery and cheating are taints on the process. The abuse of the residency or the movement away from the residency criteria to vote in Dominica established by the Constitution is another taint on the process. We had a whole set of irregularities and illegalities that affected the process in terms of the integrity of the list. And then when we look at with something like bribery, where we asked in consultation and through advocacy for a clarification of the provision on bribery in the law that would bring on board the learning from Halsbury's Laws of England that says the provision of transportation expenses for a voter on the condition expressed or implied that that particular voter would vote for a particular candidate or party is bribery. We wanted that clarification inserted into the legislation so that we are clear what we're talking about with one of the major taints on the electoral process in Dominica. Absolutely nothing was done with that. We look at the situation regarding ID cards and the fact that the provisions that we advocated for in terms of what is to be included on the ID cards, security features and so on, those have not been included in the law. They have not been statutorialized, so to speak. And it is left to the discretion of the chief registering officer, the chief election officer, what is to go on the ID card in terms of security features and so on. That we have recommended should be a provision of the law. So when you look at everything together in terms of what is presented to us, we have the Labour Party doubling down on its formula for corruptly winning elections, corruptly taking or rigging elections, and seeking to normalize that now through the legislation that is going before the Parliament.
The commissioners have not looked at the three pieces of legislation to go before Parliament. But based on the comments there from Mr. Lennox Linton and George Andre, it appears clearly that we'll not have the true reform that all of us want. Only if the commissioners choose differently and is reviewed by this government. The question still remains, even after all this discussion, is Dominica going to have true electoral reform? I know one person, a few persons have always been saying, Matt, we will not get the true reforms that we've been asking for. And one always that have been very cautious about it. Again, let me just ask our listenership as it relates to their optimism about true electoral reform in Dominica. Brian Linton is on the telephone with me, one who has always been cautious about getting true electoral reform. Good afternoon to you, Brian. How you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, my brother. How you doing, Matt?
How you doing?
Yeah, and good afternoon to all your listeners. Matt, you see that infamous email from Tony Asafan? We must never ever forget that. And we must even get some nice voice like Kimberly or so on to read that email, tape it so that we can keep reminding the people of that. Because today, since that email came out years ago, the Labour Party, led by Skerrit, has been true to the contents of that email with respect to the directives. They have been true and they have been committed to maintaining, doing everything in their power to maintain Skerrit's legacy. They call it a winning legacy. I would more rightly refer to it as a stealing legacy. I heard Professor Andre talk about a demon, Matt, and that is what is happening here, because we have a situation in Dominica right now where the incumbent government will do everything in its power to ensure that they remain in power, because they're embroiled in so many things, especially our missing billions. That is something very serious. And because of those things, Matt, they will make sure that they do everything to continue stealing elections, in spite of the fact that CCJ warned us, Matt. So, Matt, to say that we're going to get electoral reform in Dominica, that is just a dream that will not come true under Roosevelt Skerrit. And I believe, Matt, personally, that the only way that we're going to get true electoral reform in Dominica is Roosevelt Skerrit has to be removed from the governance of this country. Because once
when you say removed, there's a democratic way it has to be removed, right? And you agree?
Yes, but Matt, I agree, but Matt, that democratic way in which he must be removed, Matt, he's doing everything to obstruct it and to corrupt it to make sure that the only democratic way available to us for him to be removed, that way there is corrupted, Matt. So that is the problem that we face, Matt. Because the only way available for us to remove him democratically by the ballot, Matt, he has hijacked that process. According to the CCJ, he has tainted and corrupted that process, Matt. Okay? So what do the people of Dominica do? They must reach the point, Matt, where they have to take matters into their own hands, Matt, to ensure that they get electoral reform so that they can have a government of their choice. The only alternative available to us right now, Matt, is for the people of Dominica in true 1979 fashion to rise up, take control of the governance of this country, and then we set up some interim government that will prepare the country for general election within a reasonable period of time. And then once you have a new elected government, well, their first mandate has to be implementation of proper electoral laws, Matt. And that is the only way moving forward, because once Roosevelt Skerrit is here, Matt, we will not get electoral reform. Matt, don't be surprised if before this goes to Parliament, Matt, there's a snap election before that. Don't be surprised.
So you'll not be surprised. Many people have been suggesting. I even saw the Sun newspaper, suggesting that we may have, as it relates to that information, a snap election in Dominica.
Yeah, Matt, because what we have seen in Marigot is signs consistent with Skerrit calling elections, Matt. We've seen labor rights with brand new T-shirts and so on. You've seen my friend Gregory Rivera in Marigot more often than usual, spending a significant amount of time in the party office, giving out little things and so on here by there and so on. Okay? So you see all the signs that they will be calling a snap election, Matt. But it will not work, Matt, because in Marigot, Matt, without electoral reform, proper electoral reform, Matt, the people of Margaret have already committed themselves that there will be no election. Last time, Matt, a candidate went up, Matt, an independent candidate. Look, now we're having problems. The people who voted for him having problems with him, Matt. This time around, Matt, without any electoral reform, no candidate is not going up, Matt. Okay? So that is the stance that the people of Margaret are committing themselves to, and we hope, Matt, the people of Dominica, by extension, are committing themselves to similar stance that we want proper electoral reform, we want a clean voters list, we want voter ID, we want the resident requirement to be strictly enforced, whereby you must be resident in Dominica for you to be able to vote in Dominica. We do not want any overseas registration. We want the list to be cleaned temporarily and so on. Not what they're suggesting now, since once your name on the list, it cannot come out even after you die, they cannot take it out and so on. We do not want that, man, because all of these things, based on the experience of this government, it will be used to corrupt the election process. And we have been talking, Matt, and talking at infinitum, Matt. And I'm saying that it is now that we've seen the evidence before us, because the legislation that Mr. Skerritt has been promising, it's finally there. We have seen what it is before us. And what we are hearing and seeing so far, Matt, it is a...
Well, it appears, Brian, based on just the two conversations I've listened to from George Andre and Mr. Lennox Linton, that he has paid no attention to, of course, a judge that he has paid over $600,000 to.
Exactly, Matt. And again, many people, when we heard of Byron coming, many people referred to him as a mercenary. Many people thought that he came there to do Skerritt's dirty work, which is what eventually happened, Matt, which is what he didn't...
But it appears now that Mr. Skerritt is not listening, has not listened to Mr. Byron.
Yeah, but Mr. Byron himself, Matt, was compromising himself long time. We highlighted the differences between his draft report and his final report, where he changed his position on a number of significant issues, so much so that Skerritt and them actually were accusing him of recommending things that were unconstitutional, Matt. And again, Matt, all that is part of the game, because the proposals in terms of what we need for electoral reform is not rocket science, Matt. George Andre highlighted and summarized nicely some months ago the things that we are looking forward to in electoral reform. And I think that presentation by George Andre back then, Matt, we need to be repeating that in the public here so that people can be aware of what we are looking forward, and we can be united on what we are asking for, instead of we are here and there and all over the place. Okay? So we put forward a united front, and I'm calling on the Electoral Reform Coalition right now, Matt, and all the other political parties to step up their mobilization in terms of the education that has to take place around the country, so that people can be informed and aware and understand, so that they can act, Matt.
But the commissioners are scheduled to meet sometime this week. Do we expect anything more from these commissioners?
No, Matt, there's nothing more you can expect. Lennox Lawrence, Duncan Stowe, and Alec Lawrence, Matt, they're going to give Skerritt his wishes, Matt. These are passport peddlers, Matt. These are CBI operators, Matt. And these people know that for them to continue ripping off the country and enjoying the fruits of the country more than anybody else, they have to keep Skerritt in office. And that is one of the reasons why they were selected by Skerritt to be on the Electoral Commission. And that is one of the requirements that you must have as a labor right to sit on the commission. You must be a passport peddler. You must to demonstrate that you have a deep interest in ensuring that you do everything in your power to make sure that Skerritt remains there. So we should not expect anything different from what Skerritt is proposing. Duncan Stowe, like a puppet, Alec Lawrence and Lennox Lawrence, Labour Party operatives, they're going to just toe the line and give Mr. Skerritt what he wants. And that is why, Matt, I'm recommending a change of strategy with respect to the campaign and the protesting. Meeting the Electoral Reform Coalition must think seriously of organizing a series of public meetings to take place in front of the homes of those commissioners, Matt. To take place, have public meetings in front of Alec Lawrence's house, have public meetings in front of Duncan Stowe's house, and in front of Lennox Lawrence's house, Matt. to push the point across to them for them to act properly to ensure that we get electoral reform. We must think of new ways of exerting pressure on these gentlemen and on the government by extension for them to do the right thing. And one of the things that I'm suggesting is that for us to focus on public meetings at their homes or at their workplace, wherever we can get them, so that we can put some public attention on those fellas who apparently right now, Matt, are just being puppets of Skerrit and Tony Astafan to ensure that they do everything to make sure that we do not have free and fair elections in Dominica. So that is why, Matt, I'm saying the only way that we can have free and fair elections in Dominica, Mr. Skerrit has to be removed from any type of influence and control that he has over the Electoral Commission. And the only way that I see that happening, he has to be out of the way. Check out. Just clear.
You did make a statement earlier, Brian. I underlined it. You said the Dominican people should take matters into their own hands. Can you expound on that, please?
Oh, yes, Matt, they have to take matters into their own hands because as you were indicating, the need for the government to change by democratic means, and as I indicated, the only democratic means by which we can change the government, Roosevelt Skerrit has hijacked that. It is corrupted. The CCJ confirmed that. So the people of Dominica are in a position now, their backs are against the wall. So they have to take matters into their own hands to ensure that they remove the obstacle from the way, replace that obstacle with an interim government with the specific mandate to prepare the country for general election within a reasonable time.
All right, Mr. Brian Linton, thank you for your perspective here. Let's listen to Mr. Skerrit in recent times on electoral reform.
All of the necessary.
Yes.
I just need to update and inform the country that the government has submitted to the Electoral Commission, in keeping with Section 51 of the Constitution, all of the draft bills in relation to the electoral reform process. We made a commitment to finalize those bills. They have been finalized by the Office of the Attorney General and Attorney General himself. And also we have submitted draft copies to Her Excellency, the President. We believe that this is a major step in the fulfillment of our commitment to the nation and to our international partners and our efforts towards electoral modernization, electoral reform. The next step is that we shall also make copies available to all members of Parliament. And the intention there also after this is to have a session, an informal session with all members of Parliament so that we can discuss the bills, hear the comments, hear the suggestions, in essence, do a review with them before those bills are taken to its final process of going to Parliament. Following that, we will also make available on the government's website all of the bills so that any Dominican citizen or resident who wishes to review the bill and to look at it and to apprise themselves of what is contained in those bills, they will have an opportunity to do so. We intend to keep this process very tight. The thinking of the government is to go to Parliament in June before the end of the financial year to do the first reading and quite possibly the second and third reading. There will be a short break between the first reading and the second and third reading, but we intend to have this finalized in the month of June so that all of the necessary budgetary allocations can be made in the upcoming financial estimates to give the Electoral Commission not only the legislative mandate, but also the financial resources required to advance the implementation of the electoral reform process. So I'm very happy that we're at this point. We've made a commitment and we have kept that commitment. And my hope and prayer is that we will appreciate that the draft bills will address some of the fundamental concerns or observations which have been raised by certain sections of the public. And also we have taken note of the observations and the recommendations of our international partners. We will also be sending in a formal way copies of the draft bills to the Organization of American States, the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and CARICOM, so that they too can be informed and apprised of the steps which the government has taken towards the fulfillment and finalization of our efforts towards electoral modernization. So this is where we are. I think it's a major milestone. It's a major step forward. And let us embrace that process and let us put this matter to rest once and for all.
Somebody is suggesting that when the prime minister said there'll be a second and third election, that is a definite sign that election is around the corner. Are you one of those who believe that? I put that to Mr. Dr. Thompson Fontaine yesterday. Let's take a phone call.
Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Not the man that call rose their spirit. The man for chaos in this country. We go to election without we know. Here goes a branch of this country. People are talking to me, sir. The boy is dangerous. And they must stop this Zakabani. That's all about it.
Your take. Let's listen.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Matt. Good afternoon to all my fellow Dominicans home and abroad. Just wanted to touch on today's program, today's topic, which is very, very vital. I strongly agree with Brian, I believe it is. There is no other way, Matt. In terms of democracy, there is no way Dominicans are going to get fair elections and get what we call a fair electoral reform. And Dominicans have to wake up. And it is what it is, man. People have to go out there and forcefully take it by all means necessary. It's a shame it has to come to that. But if it's not this way, there is no other way. And I agree with Brian. 1979, I wasn't born then, but whatever happened to get the changes that was required, I think now it's coming to a point where Dominicans have to repeat 1979. There's no other way. Dominicans have to go out there and get reform by all means necessary, and I 100% support what Brian said. My question is there no way we can get the international community involved in what's happening, which we all know is totally unfair, is totally illegal, and is pretty much manipulated? That's my question, Matt. If you have the answers, I would love to know whether we can get the international community to investigate what's happening, because Skerritt needs to be put in a corner, and he needs to be challenged, and it looks like Dominicans haven't got the power to challenge him, so maybe we should consider taking it to the international community by all means necessary, if there's a possibility that we could actually do something of such. Thank you.
A voice note from the UK. 1:48 is the afternoon time, yes?
That voice. Yeah, let me say good afternoon to Mr. Bethel. I hope you're listening. Mr. Bethel, your sister tell me to say hello. So I'm saying hello to you, Mr. Bethel, in London. Matt, what Brian said, I agree with him 100%. But them people that responsible, the time that we make them people feel that Dominica not their own, Dominica doesn't belong to them, and we mean something, man. If all of us have to just sit down there and say they're not going to have a proper electoral reform, Matt, then it wouldn't happen, because Skerritt always hearing all you saying that, so he have that in his head, so he get his other deputy star boys to do what he wants for him. What Mr. Byron did for him, he feel that was too good, so he had these people that do what he want, exactly what he wants for him. In 1979, we used to tell Leo Austin. Leo Austin was the Attorney General for the Labour Party, and Dominican was determined that Leo Austin was forming the full with Mr. Patrick John. He was doing what he want for Patrick John. But now we have one there now. We have that in the opposite way. We have starboy stupidity manipulating the Attorney General to do what he wants for him. And we shouldn't sit down and take that, Matt. It will never have another 1979, Matt, because right now in 2024, it can have a 1924. 2024, it can have a 2025. It can have a 2026. We know another May 1979 cannot come back, but it have other dates in other years that can always come back. Bye-bye.
Somebody's sharing with me from the Grand Fort constituency. That's a source, huh? That there was a secret meeting in my constituency with a proposed new candidate. So things are happening, huh? Something happening. It's 1:50. Hello, talk to me.
Well, Matt, don't say I didn't tell you that earlier, Clock, yeah?
What did you
But
don't tell
anyway,
me?
that election is coming. Anyway, Matt, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, Matt, Roosevelt Security is doing his thing. He's got his 3 passport salesmen, and he's gung-ho. Now, what I want to know, Matt, is that if the Electoral Commission is who is in charge of this kind of reform, when did it get out of their hands? When did it actually get into the hand of Parliament? Who handed it over and when? When were these recommendations and all discussion that was held turned into a draft? And should that be in the hands of the Commission? All of a sudden it's in the hands of Skerrit and the Attorney General, and they just do what they want. What is that process? As though I missed something. You can get Mr. LeQuentner to guide us through that, Matt. Because it seems like it just jumped out of the hands of the Commission. The head of the Commission went silent. He's in Dubai selling his passport. Even Mr. Skerrit told us he's out of the country, and he run his business how he wants. And all of a sudden, it's in the hands of Skerrit. And
no, but I was told he may be back in the country. There's a meeting this week with the commissioner, so he may be back.
So what is he going to tell us, Matt? Why is it been so silent?
Well, I think he'll speak to the commissioners there maybe this week, Thursday or Friday.
Well, we'll be looking to hear what happens at that meeting, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. It's 1:52. Yes?
Dominican, Levy. People saying they will come, and when you get there, they're not coming. But everybody know Lucille, they know I will be there. Thank you.
Hello on the telephone, yes?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Hello.
Mr. Peltier.
How are you, sir?
I give in thanks. I say praises, thanks, blessings, and glory to all those who sacrifice their personal safety and security trying to elevate mankind to humanity. Mr. Peltier, blessings on your family.
Blessings.
Matt, I just sent your voice note. Just a few seconds. Can you play it before I say what I say, Matt?
Let me see if we can get
It's nothing to vet because it is not saying nothing defaming or...
Let me hear.
Fear not, for you have the potential to be what you're afraid of. If you're not already there in a subconscious or subliminal state of awareness. Blessings to you all, beloved people. Know yourself. Stop being intimidated. Stop being afraid. Fear not.
That's a comment? Yes.
Yeah, maybe it did not come into clear on my side, Matt. But it's a voice note I recorded, just a little inspiration. And I
think you had some vehicles running, some cars passing by. Not too clear.
I noticed.
Well, you're going to repeat. Hello, yes.
Yeah, Matt, don't worry. I'll deal with that. Matt, let me support what Brian Linton said. 150%. I agree. That's the only way to go. Matt, you have heard it 1,000 times growing up. It's who in the kitchen that feel the heat. Haven't you heard it, Matt?
Many times.
Many times. So I will say it again. When some people get ensnared or trapped or entrapped in the valley of desolation, in the desperations, Matt, to get some clothing or some flesh of relevance to clothe the dry bones, Matt. They cannot know better than me that get cool helmet. A police hit me with his helmet. I grab his helmet, I send it in a crowd, it disappear. And then he come pleading with me. I had to go and inquire, Matt, investigate. And them guys told me it's only because of you, not the police. And I just am a person with love. I have my limitation where forgiveness is concerned. Matt, Dominica right now, that's why I say Dominica have no dumb leadership, no effective leadership, no militant leadership. Matt, you need education, inspiration, motivation, organization. Matt, Dominicans have to send a message to that lunatic and tell him, boss, Dominica is not yours alone. Some people will say it's not his own, it's yours because you're a citizen. But all of us collectively, Dominica is ours. So my brother, I want to stop talking, because scarcity is feeding on our energy. And I told you, not a subject. I do not consider that thing a subject. When a person become an object of ridicule, they use other people's energy, trying to transform themselves into an angel of light. And Leroy Wadiko Charles, blessings to you. Be careful. Mad Dominicans have to wake up. And those potential leaders and those leaders we have there that think they can play by the rules. I have played sports, football particularly. I was a great goal scorer. But if the laws or the rules that govern a game does not apply to your opponent, you can never beat them. You have referee, you have linesman, you have players against you, and they're trying to play fair. Break legs to tackle. Nastiness for nastiness, boss. On the plains, anywhere, Matt, you have a major fire, bushfire. On the plains, on a savanna. Matt, when fire take over that, you can't have no truck, nothing to beat to spray that. Not even planes. So you have to try to drive ahead of that fire and study the wind that is blowing towards that fire and light another fire. And when they meet up, they just burn themselves to the ground. Scary, think well. And Matt, let me just say that. You see all the different organizations he said the report will be sent to, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fountain, Lennox Linton, and the deputy leader, what is them, the same Ronald Charles?
Mm-hmm.
And even the commissioners, Wayne James and Hillary. All you need to write to them, man, or go to them, man. Forget the international community. The international community have Skerrit in their pocket. Skerrit is doing exactly what they want him to do, is to create chaos, confusion, death and destruction. So all the contradictions, Matt, is to create confusion. So let us talk about what he said prior to what he said now, and that's what he does. He's doing it consciously to say, yes, oh, you have to be where you're resident and blah, blah, blah. All this thing. He's playing his dirty little stupid idiotic games. And Dominicans are getting lulled into the snare, the trap of deception. Dominica needs something. If Skerrit try that, Matt, if Skerrit try that, my brother, something has to happen to stop Skerrit, to show him, make him know. Boss, Dominica is not yours alone. It's not yours alone. Matt, have a blessed day, sir.
Have a blessed day. It's 1:56 in the afternoon. This is the Talk on the Block. Hello, yes? Are you there, caller? Are you there?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Mark, I called to big up Blue and Brian, Mark. Mark, but before I want to say thanks to them for service for country or to country. But Mark, you know why I always knew something wrong? The Attorney General, it is said that he's working for Dominica. And Matt, when they are doing what they call the so-called consultation, Matt is not one person, it's not 2 or 3 persons that keep on saying that they want the government to take money from the government money, the coffers, the public purse to give to the other parties, you know. Matt, a lot of people there say, and the Attorney General, I myself, I didn't know, I just said, but what they mean by that, no, by financial campaign. By the time, that's not true, and the Attorney General sits on his posterior, on his behind, and listen to everybody saying that there, Mark, and he never gave us any education on that. And so, Mark, I knew something was wrong. But I begin up Blue, because we saying we will not get electoral reform, and Blue have a different view. What Blue is actually saying, We do not want to do it. We understand. But we must stop saying that and say, we will get it somewhere, somehow. Thank you, Mark.
All right. So good afternoon to you. 449-3095, 449-3096, and 97. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good
Yes.
afternoon again.
Uh-huh.
Matt, what motivates the churches and the union to remain silent? What motivates them?
I mean, what will motivate them?
Huh?
You're asking the question, what will motivate them?
Yes, what? Because they're not saying a word. They're not saying a word. But when you come out from Dominica, they're one year, then every year. People disappear. There's the blood all over Dominica. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that. Dominican, be on your alert and fight to save Dominica from the monster that govern the country in that evil way. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Matt. It is alleged that Roosevelt Skerrit has all his paraphernalia for the upcoming election. There are people who have seen them, and he is preparing for an election. Given Roosevelt's history of calling election, this should not surprise anyone. It is also alleged that this whole new deal with Asaria and that Marina, he is the one who is funding Roosevelt's new election campaign. Hence the reason he was given the contract for that marina. So again, Roosevelt intends to take that his way of whatever you want to call it. I can't even call that electoral reform. Straight to Parliament and then call his election. It's already in motion. He made his trip to St. Thomas. He's had multiple campaign stops along Dominica. Everybody dressed in red, everybody dressed in white, the seawall, and all these different things. So something is in the making. Again, I agree absolutely 100% with Brian. You have to make these people very uncomfortable. I saw people out here during protests go to governors, places of work, everywhere. If the president went somewhere, everywhere. So I see no reason why Dominicans should sit down and be afraid to stand up and let these people understand that this country belongs to them. It belongs to me just as much as it belongs to Roosevelt or Duncan or Alec or Lennox Lawrence or any one of these guys. It belongs to us just the same. Not because they've been stealing or allegedly stealing all the country's money to enrich themselves, that we must think that they have more power than anybody else, the regular folks in Dominica. So it's time for Dominicans to stand up and let these people understand that just as much as Dominica belongs to them, it belongs to us just as well. And we have rights in the country just the same as they have rights. But Dominicans, be warned that an election is right around the corner.
I've been hearing that for days now. A lot of suggestions, a lot of indications that something is around the corner. Guess you just have to pay attention. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, we're not doing things here good. One person that always saying how to do things and how we should do things is Zed Lloyd. Zed Lloyd, come down. You will, after you finish, organize and strategize and know how to put everything in order. Come, we will work with you. We will definitely work with you. Come down. When you finish, you'll go back up. Bye-bye.
All right. Hello on the telephone. Yes. Hello. Hello. I want to play this song there from Banky Banks. Wisdom, show me the light. Show me the light. We're gonna come back after this. No, not this one. We're gonna go back in a minute. Yeah, stick around. Let's see where that is. I think we're gonna play that track there. We'll come back to it. 449-3095, 96 and 97. Are you there, caller? Yes. Caller, are you there? Hello. Nobody there at this time. I think this is the song I was looking for. This one. Thank you, Banks.
Prince of Darkness walks behind me, but he will never control me. Today I live a life of sorrow, working for the joys of a bright tomorrow.
Show me the light.
Cross, carrying my cross, carrying my cross. Wisdom, show me the right. Guide me safely through the night.
I told people 2 weeks ago, once Carrot
Show me.
fixed repaired the Salisbury Highway Road. It sounds like an election is around the corner. He opened the agricultural house in 1 mile. Then his trip to VI. Then those foreign people he invites saying they paid a courtesy call. Visited a few schools, the Marina and Portsmouth. Matt's Carrot isn't a bright guy. He always display one of the modest operandi when his election, when he is in election mode.
I'm carrying my cross, carrying my cross, carrying my cross. Wisdom, show me the right. Guide me safely through the night. Wisdom, show me. Take my hand and lead me through the fire. Now that I know the structure of your system, my path is clear towards the goals I'm destined. For all in peril is not lost, and every man must carry his cross. I'm carrying my cross, carrying my cross, carrying my cross. Wisdom, show me the right. Guide me safely through the night. Wisdom, show me the right. Take my hand.
Let's go back to the telephones at this time. Thank you, Banks. Wisdom.
You think, Matt, when I told you that the Roosevelt Security is funding the UPP, you think it's a joke? You see, election is about around the corner. So he's get the UPP to form so that he can call an election. So when UPP takes part in the election, then you will have a legitimate government. So that is what the people like Joshua Francis and whoever is with the UPP want to do. To go with Skerrit, take money from Skerrit and legitimize his government so that he can be satisfied and go so wrong the world like he's a legitimate government. But I told that to you, man.
Well, the only people that can deny that, of course, and speak to that is the UPP. Hello, talk to me. And the leadership of the United, not the UPP, the United Progress. Yes, you're back.
Expect the people in that party just to come and deny that to you,
But you cannot make an accusation like that if you don't have the facts. I'm telling you, if you cannot make an accusation like that if you don't have the facts. So I'm asking you.
Expect them to come and deny that.
But you're making an accusation and you don't have the facts. That's why so you must get the other side of the story.
I make accusation.
You just said if you expect them to come and give their side of the story. That's what you said.
Well, I asked you to expect them to come and tell you anything.
That means that you're in denial that is not true.
If you got an accusation, well, I take it back.
All right, that's what I'm saying. For 4-9, you can't make an accusation like that if you don't have the facts. Hello, talk to me, yes? Are you
Matt, where you get that thing about election? Call it election. What is being done, Matt?
Oh, okay.
No election right now. Matt, you know what that remind me of? That remind me when Ridgeoff used to call you and tell you they're going to arrest the Prime Minister, JFK, and all your callers would just gravitate on that election.
So let's just have a conversation, like having a conversation with you. The people are saying that they have indications that it has happened before. You've seen signs that you may have a general election. It's just a suggestion. You're saying that you have facts that there will be no general elections.
Yes, but I have an idea.
But I'm asking you, do you have the facts that there will be no general or snap elections?
Matt, the only thing we're doing in Dominica is working.
I'm asking you a question. Do you have the facts that there will be no snap elections, Al?
Yes, let me go on record and say no snap election, but I also have to say I have an idea when the election is coming.
All right, good for you now, Al. Okay, so you have the facts that there will be no snap elections, and you have an idea when it will be coming. Well, we'll wait for you then, Al. Hello, talk to me, yes?
You didn't give me a break if you say what I was saying. You just cut me off.
Go ahead.
Matt, I really should have an idea. Let me ask you a question. Are you one of the people that, how you call that, Matt, going around and getting the people to come down here to vote, Matt? I'm asking you a question, Al. Are you one of them, Al? Because I understood some of all in New York doing that. I hope you're not one of them, Al. So you should know what's going on. Matt, we call on the people that are living in the apartments. People are living in the apartments. Kerry didn't put all you in the apartments because he loved all you. Hell no. No. Take that off all your mind. He put all you to live in the apartment because he wanted to have a hold on all you. And the only way all you can break free from that is to do the proper thing. When election is called and all you, we calling for a protest or whatever, come out and show all your solidarity. That's the only way all you will be able to have an apartment belonging to all you. Right? So take it, because when the apartments were being built, especially those in Emsall and Bafa State, it was said in 2009 was for people that were the working class people. That's what that was said. And a lot of the people are living out of the Roseau, that's working in ministry, that holding offices, some certain places in town, and they have to go up and down. These apartments were built for them to pay their money to live in. It wasn't to hold people for votes. And that is what he put all you inside there to do, to hold all you for votes. And the only way all you can get out of that situation is to do the proper thing. Vote out, scare it.
Well, you know, Blue Bloods, you said that. I have been speaking to some people who said, man, I cannot say anything because I want my apartment too. So you see the fear that's been instilled in these people, huh?
That is it, man. He put them there to live in the apartment to buy them. And the only way they can get free from that, man, is when election time comes, vote him out, so then all you be able to have all your documents in all your hands, because he will not give it to all you, because he wants all you to hold on to the thought that, boy, if I stay there and I don't say anything, I will get what I have to get. No. Take that out of all your mind, because that wasn't what it was intended for. So people, do the right thing, follow the league, and follow the crowd where the crowd going. Bye-bye.
All right, you know where the crowd is going, Blue. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Man, good afternoon again, Matt, for the last time.
Yes, I hope I don't hear your voice again.
Matt, do you know money is a great defense?
Money is what?
Money is a great defense.
Mm-hmm.
But Jehovah God is better yet. Anything you want on the earth, we used to fight against negative forces. You must fight. The devil lives on blood. And these guys, they don't like Dominica. They don't love Dominica. Dominica turn like dust and dirt this week. Don't you see Dominican running? Stacia, Tabor, Anguilla, stand back. Even what they call stand back. send that, they go send that, and there's the rad. You want to talk about the tell office still? Tell you must go. And who call you cook, you must go.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. That's at 2:15. Hello, yes? Uh-huh.
Mad.
Yes.
Look at Granby. Siri was exposing the amount of unfinished building that started in Granby. I was watching it this weekday. You think Scary don't know why it is not completed? Because the people that is waiting for the apartment, they will not vote him out and they will not talk because they are waiting for the apartment.
But it appears that they're waiting in vain because for some time he said he would give them that paper, to show ownership. But nothing has happened.
Well, it's standing there not completed. Thank you.
All right, hello. He did say that he'd be working on that for some time. That's taking a lot of time, boy. Hello, talk to me, yes? For ownership. Are you there? Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Oh, boy. Hello. I've got to move to the next call. 449-3095-96 and 97. Somebody says, man, I would not worry about these people in the apartments. After the next couple of years, this government have a lot of work to do to relocate these people. All these apartments are not probably built, and no one is paying a fee for maintenance. Boy, might look work, huh? Hello, yes. Uh-huh.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Let me tell you, election is really true, because some of the people are already in Guadeloupe campaigning.
In Guadeloupe?
So, yes. So let me tell you, let the people know and let our opposition know, if there's a rat put in any corner or no vote at all. No vote at all. Let Skerrit win by himself, and he will stay with his people by himself. And one of these days, he will get trapped.
All right, somebody's from the east. Thank you very much. Another indication there is from the east. I am listening to your current discussion. Are you aware that the Labour Party constituency personnel are currently conducting house-to-house surveys on the pretense of hurricane season? I think that they're using that to get an understanding of their support within the households in preparation for an election. So again, somebody says that the house-to-house, that's going on in the east of the country, Casabros, Petit-Soufrière, and the rest. They're using that to get a feel of the people on the ground. So a lot of that is happening there in the east. Hello, talk to me, yeah? Uh-huh.
But finally for the afternoon, Matt, I call in on Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Lennox Linton, these honorable men, and Ronald, writing him the same Ronald Charles Matt, Hillary Shillingford, Wayne James, and get maybe contact Dr. Andre for them to go, Matt, the CCJ, the OAS, CARICOM, and go and meet them and give them the reality if they're not listening. Not to come talk to me here, you know what Motley, I will not say what she is. And tell them the possibility of what is going to happen in Dominica. So when the hellfire starts, Matt, they cannot say they were not informed. Matt, Dominicans cannot take that level. What scary figure, they can call the RSS, He's not trusting them police officers he have there, And I know he depending on his militias. But it's not the only one that can create militias. What all you that have the resources, what all you're doing? All you that have the influence, what all you're doing? And any little punk that come in and playing politician and afraid of scare act. Get off center stage. Let somebody more militant. But this is the time you differentiate between men and boys. And any boy, put your backside aside because, Matt, we cannot have that crisis. Matt, that is to seal the deal, you know. After that, what you're going to say, you need electoral reform again. But Scarrett will say, but look, I just give all you electoral reform. Electoral modernization, electoral reform, using them interchangeably to create confusion in the contradiction. I am asking all you, while it is early, whether it is true or not, what these demons are trying. Take in front and go and meet with these different organizations as a contingent, a group, a body, and go and ask them to intervene, because he liked to call the RSS. If his eyes hurting him, if he noticed somebody pass with a fork in the pants, he calling RSS. But Dominicans cannot allow Skerrat to do more damage than he have done to Dominica. We have to stand up and fight. Thank you.
All right. Hello. Yesterday, somebody's reminded me, I asked Mr. Thompson Fontaine a very important question. Are you ready? He's here to answer you. But for now, well, he did say that the opposition or the party, the United Workers' Party, have some things in place. We'll have to wait and see. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, man, good afternoon.
To you, sir.
Oh, I go on, sir. This is Bello calling from Water Waver, well stressed.
Yes, sir.
Since 2014, I've been going up and down and making some report about what go on with me on my farm in Water Waver. It looks like the police, they really want a crime to be committed. Matt, I go to the police many times, since 2014.
Well, we'll talk about that some other time, okay? We're concentrating on the re-election. So when we have an open line, call and of course, state your case, okay? Thank you very much. Hello, yes? Yes. I'm here.
By now, Dominicans should know Skerrit mouth is toxic. They should know everything Skerrit says is possessed, because he's a demon-possessed man. Everything Skerrit come out with is for politics, to hold on Dominicans under his demonic power. Man, you should be there to see the amount of people are demons in Dominica. When the pastor from Africa was
the apostle Chichi, yeah. John Chi, yes.
Matt, and those demons, they are not easy demons. That is what are controlling the country. Matt, you can remember Skerrit had a man in Dominica touching people's head and praying for them. And there was a time in Dominica, Matt, dogs used to just come and suck blood of cows and goats before Skerrit become in power. Matt, this is demon force. And Dominicans need to pray. All pastors hiding. But I will be sorry for them pastors. God will tell them, depart from me, I know you not. When you are supposed to help your children, you are under Skerrit clutches. People like you want to just with the don't touch the dial. Peter Augustine. We are with Peter Augustine. Is that his spiritual advisor? Mad demons are controlling Dominica from the toxic mouth of Roosevelt Skerrit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to that conversation we had with George Andre last evening, his comments as it relates to these pieces of legislation. Go back.
What do we need? Do we need, for example, or perhaps we need someone like an apostle? Is it Apostle Chi? To extricate, to exorcise this demon of despotism that is buried in the bosom of Dominica, corrupting all its vital organs and creating havoc, creating strife, creating antipathy among family and friends that is sucking the lifeblood from Dominica. I will have more to talk about this. These three pieces of legislation, the Electoral Commission Act, the House of Assembly Act, and the Registration of Elections Act, confirm our worst fears that the democracy we dream of, based and premised on free and fair elections, will not be given to us. We have to try to discover in the title, to make reference to the title of a Harvard professor who published a book, the title of which is something to the effect, we are the leaders that we would like to have in this most perilous of times. Because if we look at these three pieces of legislation, we will see that they do not institute the most fundamental and important reforms recommended by the OAS, by Caribbean organizations, by local organizations, not even by Sir Byron, who was paid in excess of $600,000. I will have more to say about that. But if we look at the proposed constitution of the commission, the question of the electoral fund, if we go to other pieces of legislation, such as, for example, the House of Assembly Act, we will see how important problems that we've already identified in terms of the definition of treating, in terms of the definition of bribery. We will see that there has been no change whatsoever in what existed before and what is being proposed now. If we look, for example, at the other piece of legislation, the Registration of Electors Act, we will see that in terms of who can participate in elections, what is being suggested is even worse and more dangerous than what Sir Byron suggested. So the combination of these three proposed pieces of legislation is nothing but a witch's brew of provisions which will ensure that elections in Dominica will become meaningless, because we will not be able to extricate ourselves from the clutches of this demon, whether spiritual or otherwise, that has us in its grip. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just trying to be realistic. And this calls into question our role as the protectors of our democracy. Are we prepared to assume the mantle of leadership in protecting our democracy by repudiating in its entirety these three pieces of legislation concocted by persons who have one overarching interest: to maintain themselves in power as long as possible? And that is where we are in today.
I didn't think it would come to me having to say this, but what we are looking at in terms of these three pieces of legislation that are proposed to go before Parliament for passage and are supposed to bring on board the electoral reforms that we have been talking about for a number of years. What we have before us is actually worse than what we discussed in consultation following the recommendations of Sir Dennis Byron coming out of that consultancy from a couple of years ago. Worse because it now presents us with having to deal with an electoral process that is entitling overseas voters who are not ordinarily resident in Dominica and whose human rights to live, to work, and to enjoy life are under the jurisdiction of another government, to distort or to cause harm to the wishes of the resident population of Dominica. That was clearly not the intention of the Constitution that confers the right to vote for representation in the Parliament and the right to participate in government of the people, by the people, for the people. The Constitution clearly sets out residence as a criteria for being able to choose representation in the government. So you have to be resident in a particular polling district in a certain constituency in Dominica for you to be on the register of voters and for you to be able to vote. The bills before us are moving completely away from that to a policy position by this government now that once you have registered to vote, your name
shall remain on the register of voters, and you will vote forever and ever, amen, regardless of where you live, regardless of whether you're in Dominica or not. You will be able to vote in elections in Dominica. And that is a fundamental departure from the principle of representation on which the right to vote is based. The Prime Minister, some time ago, pointed to the folly of having a Dominica citizen, somebody born in Dominica, living in New York and asking the PAL rep in Dominica for representation when the road in Manhattan has potholes and needs to be fixed. He internally and truthfully grasped the value of representation to this whole process and what residence means in all of this right to vote for representation in the parliament. He also tells you that where you make your money, is where you're domiciled. Where you live is where you're domiciled. But yet, he is the one who has masterminded this set of proposals now to go before Parliament to basically take the residency criteria to vote out of the equation of the electoral process in Dominica. And when you look at the way in which the electoral process has been manipulated over the years, with all of the millions and millions of dollars from the sale of Dominican passports that are used to bring in Dominicans resident overseas to vote in marginal constituencies and to affect the results in those marginal constituencies in favor of the ruling party. When you look at the absence of campaign finance regulations, even those proposed by Sir Dennis Byron, totally ignored, so that big money, much of which we don't know where, we're never sure where it comes from, but we know a lot of it comes from the sale of our passports, so that big money can have an influence and be the deciding factor in elections in Dominica. When we see no campaign finance regulations, you know very well now that what we are looking at is not reform. We're looking at deformity, further deformity of the electoral process away from the ability to deliver free and fair elections in Dominica. And we know elections in Dominica have not been fair for a long time. In 2014, the Commonwealth Observer Mission told us that the elections were free but not necessarily fair because of numerous instances of bribery and cheating and abuses of incumbency that they witnessed, they saw. We know what the CCJ told us in 2022 in July, that we ought not to go into another election without removing the taints on the electoral process. Bribery and cheating are taints on the process. The abuse of the residency or the movement away from the residency criteria to vote in Dominica established by the Constitution is another taint on the process. We had a whole set of irregularities and illegalities that have affected the process in terms of the integrity of the list. And then when we look at something like bribery, where we asked in consultation and through advocacy for a clarification of the provision on bribery in the law that would bring on board the learning from Halsbury's Laws of England that says the provision of transportation expenses for a voter on the condition expressed or implied that that particular voter would vote for a particular candidate or party is bribery. We wanted that clarification inserted into the legislation so that we are clear what we're talking about with one of the major taints on the electoral process in Dominica. Absolutely nothing was done with that. We look at the situation regarding ID cards and the fact that the provisions that we have advocated for in terms of what is to be included on the ID cards, security features and so on, those have not been included in the law. They have not been statutorialized, so to speak. And it is left to the discretion of the chief registering officer, the chief election officer, what is to go on the ID card in terms of security features and so on. That we have recommended should be a provision of the law. So when you look at everything together in terms of what is presented to us, we have the Labour Party doubling down on its formula for corruptly winning elections, corruptly taking or rigging elections, and seeking to normalize that now through the legislation that is going before the Parliament.
All right, Dominic, you just heard there from the president of the United Workers' Party. Told you what's coming. It's 2:35. Mr. Linton was speaking last evening on Global View, along with the Judge Andre. Hello, yes?
Yeah, my good afternoon again.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I'm asking myself a question. Let me ask you too. When are we going to appreciate Mr. Lennox Linton, Matt? Matt, this is a need for us in Dominicano. Matt, you remember when Mr. Skerrit invited Mr. Byron? But Mr. Linton is an intelligent man, you know. Remember, he asked him to send the agreement, whatever Mr. Byron going to put the agree to it. Let me not say that. I leave you for blessing to do. Blessing, put the word for me. Thank you, Matt.
All right. Somebody's now suggesting, I hope the opposition is not caught with their pants down. Again, suggesting that the opposition is not ready yet. Look here, the people of Dominica should not allow the government to go to parliament with that sham election reform. The parliament is the people's parliament, and not the government. It's the people's house. Don't allow it to happen. A WhatsApp message there from the diaspora. Somebody sharing that, man. There will be no election without proper reform. Public officers are on standby. Hello, yes, talk to me.
Matter question is me, that's the question, man, though. Is the election rule changed now? Is it every 2 years now?
No rules have changed as it relates to elections. No,
as far as Kerry it will do. It's every 2 years.
Not as far as I'm aware of, no. In your mind, maybe. Hello, 239, talk to me. Somebody else is suggesting, man, it's time for shit to hit the fan. Dominicans are playing dead. Matt, we're ready like a ball of fire. No reform, no election. I'm hearing that call again, huh? Matt, the excavator came back on the portion of land in Warner to fool the people. and registered for a house. That area of the land is all there by All Saints area. Again, as I asked Dr. Funkin yesterday, does the UWP has their representatives in place? The UPP smell a rat, and this is why they're coming out. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Mr. Peltier. Good afternoon.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Peltier, listening to all what you discussing this afternoon, I want to say something. There's a brother that called you all the time from the BVI, and he asked a question to Roosevelt, and he wanted to know if the blood of the people gonna be on Roosevelt's carried hand. And throughout all this conversation on electoral reform, I had my reservation that there will be none like the people desire. And Blessed made a recommendation earlier, and I said it to somebody, and you sure I don't quite remember. I think it was Mr. James or somebody, that they take to the regional organization, CARICOM and all of them things, and take it to them as it is happening in Dominica, and let them know, give them a heads up of what's taking place. But to my brother in the BVI, yes, my brother, if you listen, I know you'll be listening. The blood of the people is going to be on Roosevelt Skerritt's hand, because that's what he wants, Matt. By denying the people the rights to exercise their the democratic rights and a fair election, to give them the right to have a voter's ID card and all other things that is required. Reform. What he's doing, Matt, is provoking the people. He deny all these things, and there are a lot of people who say they don't want violence. But let me tell you, every great empire today that sits on top of the world, violence is what got them there. Because at one time or the other, there was a revolution. People had to take the law into their own hands to take back their country. And that's how they call it. So for us, who might say no violence and whatnot, even the great Mandela was for violence. And he told you, he said, Gandhi used a non-violent movement for morality because it was against his morals, Gandhi's morals. But him, Mandela, believing in violence. He believed in violence, and he believed when and if it need be, if that's what he had to do, he'd use violence. And if the other way to use diplomatic way, he used a diplomatic way. But he never backed down and say he would not use violence. You could search it yourself. And what I'm saying, Matt, is after you back a people up in a corner for so long, and the people have nowhere to turn, whatever the outcome is, that's going to be the end result. So my brother listening in Satola, that's what he wants, blood. He wants the people's blood on his hand, because all the demonic things the people speak of him, Matt, I don't know whether he's demonic or what. I just
and you don't think that there can be a peaceful way to getting the results you want?
Yes, it could be. I'm just saying, yes, it could be. But I'm just saying there are alternatives when you do the people what you're doing. I'm not saying that just go violent. I'm just saying both doors are open. And whichever one closes in your face, then you have to take an alternative. So don't say that, well, it cannot be peaceful. Yes, it can be peaceful. But if a man have your back against a wall and he refuse to ease upon you and do it diplomatically, then whichever way it goes, Matt, I'm not denying the people their rights. The people have to do what they have to do, and that's the end result. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a break. We'll come back after a word from our sponsors.
Dominica, get ready as we engage in creating a roadmap for the island's future development. It will be healthy talk and lively debate.
We are beginning, of course, on the night of the 4th with the opening ceremony and awards dinner. I am happy to note that all of the nominees have been finalized. We have actually 9 outstanding Dominicans who will be awarded for their outstanding contribution to Dominica's economy in various areas of agriculture, music and entertainment, tourism, manufacturing, and so on, 9 different areas. We'll also be conferring the award, Lifetime Achievement Award, to Mr. Philip Nassif, who passed recently, but who was a pioneer in Dominica as far as manufacturing is concerned.
It's time to restart, kickstart, jumpstart Dominica's economy on Nature Eye.
Will be worth my while.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all confess. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What they say. Shop at SCS. SCS family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam and Monsieur, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Roosevelt.
All you where in Roseau, Kimasha deals, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts wholesale. And all you where in Roseau, Kimasha deals, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts wholesale and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford. All chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast. And you know breast is best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Risapul, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks. It's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
The Dominica Economic Revival Summit opening dinner and award ceremony is on Tuesday, 4th June from 7 p.m., where 9 outstanding Dominicans who have contributed to the country's development will be honored and awarded. There will also be live entertainment included, and all this for only $250 EC per person. This will be followed by the Dominica Economic Revival Summit on Wednesday, 5th June and Thursday, 6th June from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and which is free of charge and will include lunch and snacks.
Gathering speed, long cross, big smile. That's pause. Windsor Park Stadium will be filled to capacity when Dominica takes on Jamaica in the FIFA World Cup qualifier. Sunday, June 9, 3 p.m. Windsor Park Stadium, Dominica. Tickets $25 adults, $15 children. Come support the boys repping 767DA in a crucial matchup against the 876JA. Who your Miss Reggae? Dominica, Jamaica. Get your tickets now. Auto Trade is introducing our very own mobile app. Yes, the Auto Trade app is here. From scheduling your service appointments, request financing, checking our vehicle and parts inventory, to receiving personalized coupons and sales specials. Life is so much easier with the new Auto Trade app. Download the Auto Trade app from the Play Store or App Store today. Call us at 255-6800. Auto Trade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship.
Hello, fellow Dominicans.
things are really not changing anytime soon. We hear you, we listen to you, and we are responding to your call. The Economic Revival Summit presents a top platform for presenters, powered by a diverse and stellar lineup of thought leaders, renowned experts, entrepreneurs, and business owners. This event complements a new approach by creating a forum to discuss, explore, and unpack major issues and top priority areas that provide informed viewpoints and perspectives to spearhead and restore confidence through a plan for a brighter future for you and your family. I am Glenroy Soso Coffee, and I endorse this economic summit. Join me and my fellow Dominicans and UWP candidates as we together plan to make your lives better. Remember, it's from June 4th to the 6th at Jungle Bay Resort. Thank you.
Let's listen to this voice note there as we have just about 12 more minutes.
Peltier, good afternoon to you, sir. I'm sitting here listening to the conversation, and I keep hearing this question as to whether the UWP is ready and what are they doing. Now, the UWP stayed away from the last sham elections because they were following the head of the CCJ that told them that there should be no election in Dominica without electoral reform. Now, as far as I know and as far as we know, those reforms have not been instated as yet. So I don't understand why people are concerned that if an election is called, that the UWP is not ready. Whether they are ready or not, I don't believe that they should participate in any elections in Dominica without the full electoral reform that the people of Dominica has been fighting for over 12 years. The people of Dominica should not allow any election to go through without the reform that they have been asking for or have been fighting for. If they were to allow an election to go through in Dominica without these reforms, then they have nobody else to blame but themselves. They cannot sit there and wait on Lennox Linton and Thompson Fountain and others to prevent an election from going through without the reforms. The reforms are the request of the people. And if the people really want the reform, then they will get the reform that they want if they really want it. I keep hearing people like Brian saying that we will not get electoral reform on the Roosevelt Skerrit. You can get anything you want on the Roosevelt Skerrit if you're willing to stand up and fight for it, if you're willing to do what is absolutely necessary to get it. You understand me? So if the people of Dominica really want electoral reform and they want the type of reform that they have been asking for, then they will do what is necessary and they will get it. But they cannot sit down on their asses and wait for Lennox Linton or Thompson Fountain to do it for them. No, they have to come out in droves. They have to come out in the masses. And it is then and only then they will get what it is that they really want.
But man, I said that yesterday after I heard Thompson Fountain on your program yesterday. I said the opposition, they are not ready. They are not ready. If the opposition expect Roosevelt Skerrit to be playing by their rules and not his own rules, Roosevelt Skerrit do not play by any rules. So that's what I said yesterday. The opposition, they are not ready, and they are going. Let me just leave that alone. They are just not ready for election.
Hello, yes, I'm here. It's 2:54, yes. Hello.
Yeah, good day.
Good day to you, sir.
So
so what is the reason we're paying to listen to that seminar by Mr. for the time?
What's that?
I say when the thing is taking place at the Jungle Bay, we have to pay $250. What is the reason we're paying it?
No, you're paying for entertainment on the first day. Next 2 days, where you will be lectured. Of course, the presentations will be made. It's absolutely free. Okay?
Oh, it's free.
It's free. The 2 days are free. Yes, and you pay for the entertainment and the presentation of awards.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but you just hear nonsense. Bye bye.
That's your opinion again. 254. You asked me for information. I just gave it to you. And don't talk to me. Yes. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Peltier.
How are you?
Well, thank you. I'm not going to insult anybody.
Okay.
But I want to tell my brother in Christ, which is Tony Caesar, professed to be a Christian. I didn't know he's a pastor or whatever it is. But I'm saying to him, he keep on asking Mr. Scary the same questions and the question over. I think to my, I'm just giving a little advice. Best thing to do, you got your church, your Christians over there, pray for the land, go in and fasting, go in and pray and fast on Sunday, and take your cares to the Lord. Because you keep on asking all that time, you asking the man if this and this, it makes no sense. We are the Christians, we are the light of the world, and we are there to shine. So you cannot join other people every time saying, love him and seek God and start to fast, start to pray in your church, and let us all get results. While we are doing that here, do the same thing over there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your presentation this afternoon. Again, just for the caller who called there a little while ago. Yes, you're paying for the dinner, and I will add, the entertainment too as well, and the presentation of awards. Hello, talk to me. Yes. So hello. Yes.
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
It look like Dominicans are special. Dominicans are special type of people, man.
You have to keep repeating the same thing over and over, right?
Matt, Dominicans, we haven't got health facility. NEP cannot get paid. Retirees cannot get their salary. They're paid. Children, a lot of young people leave school, they cannot get a job. Famine is in a state. The hospital is in a state. Matt, I cannot believe Dominicans going to let that monster, for how many years that monster there is on people's back. And for Dominicans tell me they feel in a heat. And for you to tell me that monster, they're still going around campaigning, going to fool people. Dominicans, wake up now, please. And don't let that, people bank account. Some people bank account. If you will go to the credit union and to the bank, you just seen people withdrawing, Whether people that support workers or labor or who, everybody feeling the heat under that monster there, Matt. Some of them you seen them there, they're not feeling nothing. Dominica is in a crisis. And Dominicans not seeing that mess here. Let me see if Dominicans going to let that monster there fool them again. People, wake up. Wake up, people. Children suffering. Parents cannot send their children to school. Mess here. People haven't got food for them to eat. Basic needs. People haven't got that in Dominica. Matt, I tired of people telling me. French people telling me Dominica says sort. Matt, come on, man. People suffering, and for you to tell me that monster, they are still going. Mr. Them haven't got a heart, man. 20-something years now. You on people back like that, people suffering, and you still going around trying to fool people? No, man. People wake up, pray, and ask God to help. That is the most I can say. Because if that monster, they come back on people back, Lord Jesus, help us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you on the telephone. Yes, more telephone calls coming here on the Talk on the Block. Yep.
Yeah, Matt, I just want to make a correction to some people I am hearing calling to say about opposition not ready. Matt, they're missing the point. The Dominica is not ready for election. for the opposition or for Dominica or any political party to be ready for election, you must have proper electoral laws. You must have a clean voters list. Do you know, Matt, if the voters list is not clean, Matt, that the chief elections officer is supposed to report to the Electoral Commission that they're not ready for elections, Matt? So Dominica is not ready. So when people come talking about opposition not ready, Matt, we need to remind them under our circumstances where we have been begging for electoral reform for years, where the CCJ has ruled that the elections in Dominica are tainted. We are in a position in Dominica where we are not ready for general election. Not opposition, not Labour. Labour Party will thief elections every time. They're always ready to steal elections. But no party can be ready for election if there is not proper electoral laws, and especially if we do not have a clean and proper elections list, man. So those people talking this nonsense about opposition not ready and opposition not ready and so on, the opposition will be ready when we have election, good, decent electoral reform laws, that we can have free and fair elections in Dominica. That is all we are asking for. And then we will see who ready and who not ready. Tell Skerrit, give us the reform that we are asking for. And then we will see who ready and who not ready and who catching who with pants down and all of those nonsense of the talking. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It's 3:01. Somebody's saying, well, we should stop asking Thompson if the opposition is ready. What is wrong with us? The United Workers' Party is not in the opposition. Hello, talk to me, or not the opposition party. Are you there? 449-3095-9697. Hello, yes?
Yes, Mr. Matt, who is the monster the lady talking about?
What are you talking about?
But that corner before the last one, she said the monster. Who is the monster?
What monster?
But she said the monster, if they get to power, they let the monster still continue to be in power.
Maybe you should call her and ask her. If she has a number, I'll give it to you. Okay, hello, talk to me. Yes?
Matt, we're into overtime.
Well, we're here. We have 2 more minutes.
Yeah, Matt, Roosevelt Skerrit will always play dirty. And this aspect of a fixed election date, it seems that it got buried in the process. But that is one of the things I think that would make elections a little bit more fair, that the election date be fixed, that you cannot have just a snap election and try to take the opposition by surprise. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Another telephone call in the afternoon as we wrap it up here. Hello, talk to me, yeah?
Skerrit, no.
Hello, 2302 Skerrit. No, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Hello, yes, talk to me, yeah? Are you there, caller? You're not. Let's end up with this one here from JD. In 2020, I think he wrote this one. We've got to go. See you again tomorrow. Next here. Flo Dominica.
Neighbor, elections just over. Can I get $2 to buy a pound of sugar? Things really tight with me. My child belly empty. You know the deal with NEP. Could you make it a 50? But where the Ross is this? Come up here with your foolishness. It's you who want it so. Don't ask me nothing to borrow. You used to chant 5 more years, oh so proudly. Come take your 5 more years of history.